Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. For today's video, we're going to go over 3 exercises to stop cervicogenic dizziness with rotation. Turning your head right or left and triggering dizziness is a really common problem. So in this video, we're going to tackle a couple exercises, 1 passive and 2 active, to strengthen the correct muscles to stop dizziness with rotation. Let's get into it. Well, welcome back to another episode of Physio Tips with Mauro. I'm your host, Mauro Burnett, physical therapist and owner of Australian Physiotherapy Specialist, a physical therapy center located here in Jacksonville, Florida. For my particular physical therapy practice, we specialize in patients with severe neck injuries, back injuries. So we see a lot of patients that have pain in the upper neck that can trigger dizziness. This is what we would call cervicogenic dizziness. Your balance system is kind of made up of 3 systems. You've got your ears, your vestibular system, you've got your eyes, vision, and lastly, you have what's called proprioception. Proprioception is the ability to know where your body's at in space. So this is kind of how it goes down. If I'm tight or sore in the upper neck, it disrupts proprioception. So there's 1/3 of your balance system that's already compromised. So if you have pain in the neck with rotation, every time you rotate, if your joint is tight or pinched, that's going to irritate your neck, disrupt your proprioceptors, and it could result in dizziness. Maybe you've been to vestibular physical therapy clinics, or maybe you've seen other videos online and you've seen some of these exercises for dizziness, like you move your head right and left or up and down. And you might have found in this scenario that it actually made your dizziness a little worse. So dizziness with rotation is a common scenario. When we look at neck injuries, one of the most common things that happen is you get a bit weaker deep in the muscles in the front of the neck. The muscles in the front of the neck provide fine control for your vertebra to move smoothly and prevent your neck from pinching. So we're going to look at the first exercise to help with getting the pinch out of your neck if you have a turning tightness. And the next 2 exercises are going to work on giving you better fine control so that you can move your neck without having your vertebra repinch. Let's get into our first exercise called a cervical snag technique. Let's take a look at the snag technique. The snag technique was an osteopathic technique that you can do to yourself to relieve tension and pain at your upper cervical vertebra. Technically, you could use a snag technique for many parts of your neck, but for this particular video, we're going to use it for the upper cervical vertebra. It's the upper neck that can oftentimes trigger headaches, dizziness, nausea, etc. So, this technique was invented by Brian Mulligan, famous therapist from New Zealand, and this is how it works. We take the sewn edge of a small, medium-sized hand towel, the selvage. I'm going to place this right at the base of my head, and I want it to be at my earlobes level, but also in line with the tip of my nose. So earlobes, tip of the nose. If it's too low, you're going to grab below the upper cervical spine. It may not be as effective. There's a good chance it won't be. Okay, so we get this earlobes, tip of the nose. Let's say I'm dizzy or tight or sore with turning to the right. What I could do is I drop the right side, I crisscross, my right hand comes over and takes the left side of the towel. This hand's going to come underneath and just make sure the towel stays in place. I'm kind of going fingertip tight. I don't want it to be away from my face. If it's away from my face, it doesn't really support me. It's on my cheekbone on the left, and I gently look to the right, turn to the right as far as I can comfortably without pain, tightness, or dizziness. A good detail with this is if you pull too strongly forward, you might tense your neck and you might notice you're not able to turn it as well. So you kind of relax into it. Make sure it's comfortable. Go as far as you can comfortably. And then back. If you notice that it's uncomfortable or it makes you dizzy, before you give up on the technique, here's a little tip. Go up a millimeter or down a millimeter, right? You don't see this on Bob and Brad sometimes. I'm just kidding. I love Bob and Brad. Great guys. But if you haven't seen the Bob and Brad physical therapy channel, but you will go up a millimeter, down a millimeter, great extra detail that you get here on Physio Tips Tomorrow. And then you rotate it to the right. I'm kind of a gentleman as I do it. I'm not being rough or forcing it to the right. But if you get it just right, it can be really impressive. You rotate to the right, and then you reassess. And then you could notice possibly that you have an immediate improvement in right rotation and decrease in dizziness. In 2014, there was a research study where a group of people that suffered neck pain and headaches with turning their neck, they were taught how to do this technique. They did it at least once or twice a day. By 4 weeks into it, their symptoms went from severe to moderate to mild. Great technique. Give it a try. It has to be pain-free. It has to be dizzy-free. Brian Mulligan, when he teaches this, he would say if you come into his clinic in New Zealand, he'd only have you do 2 reps on your first day. Give it a day and make sure you're okay. If you notice that it's not too bad and it's starting to help, you could do up to 6 reps in one session. That would be one session. Then you could do this 2, 3, 4 times a day as needed. If it works, keep it. If it feels bad, disregard it. Let's get into our next exercise. Hey, I just want to mention, if you're getting value from this video, do me a big favor, hit that like button, and remember, you can subscribe to our channel so you get more videos like this in the future on physiotherapy related tips. We have great tips. We're going to try to give you a lot of good details that maybe some of the other channels don't provide. Okay, let's get into our second exercise. The second exercise, we're going to address the deep neck flexors. That's the muscle group in the front of the neck. Studies show if your neck's been sore, if you've had a whiplash, or if you had some pain for a while, you can lose up to 50 to 75% of your strength and endurance. The muscles in the front of the neck play a big role. These small one joint muscles that attach to your vertebra, they play a big role with helping with smooth rotation, smooth return. If you don't have good control of your neck, when you go to rotate, you could very easily feel a pinch or discomfort. I had a patient in my clinic today, and I was feeling the back of their neck while they were rotating. And the best way I could describe it is I kind of felt like the vertebra was wobbling while it was turning, when it should have a kind of a nice smooth turn feel to it. So that wobbling is a classic sign that your deep muscles have gotten weaker and your joints are a little bit unstable. The patient may tell me things like it clunks, it pops, it makes these weird grinding or Rice Krispie type noises. So in that case, if you rotate right, especially quickly, it could easily trigger dizziness if you don't have good control of some of these deep stabilizing muscles. So let's do 2 exercises to improve this deep neck flexor activity. And then when you're done, you can immediately retry your rotation and see if it makes it better. The first exercise goes like this. I'm looking straight ahead. I could even pick an object at the wall. I go up just a little bit, maybe 1 or 2 inches up, and then I slowly come back down. What's going to happen is my deep neck flexor muscles are going to lengthen to let my head go back. The head could be 10 or 12 pounds, and then it shortens to bring me back again. If it doesn't make me dizzy, I could keep the range really small, slightly up, slightly back down. We get to where you could do maybe 10 or 15 reps. You could eventually build up to 2 or 3 sets of 10 or 15. And this could be an easy exercise that you could do 2 or 3 times a day. You could think of it like a breakfast, lunch, and dinner exercise. Great exercise to help with your neck flexors. Great little anecdotal story. I had a patient in my clinic. We went to do an exercise where it included rotation. They said, "Hey, Mauro, I can't rotate to the right. It's really making me dizzy." So I said, "Okay, before you rotate right, let's do this. Go up and down for me a little bit. Maybe try that 10 times. We did it 10 times, and I go, "Now, real slowly, let's look to the right and see what you think." They look to the right, and they're like, "Wow, immediately I feel less dizziness." So if you're doing some type of rotation exercises that makes you dizzy, give this exercise a try, and then reassess. Let's get into our third exercise. All right, let's take a look at exercise number 3. By the way, I wanted to mention, tomorrow, Sunday, at 11 a.m. Eastern Time in the US, we're going to post another video, almost like a part 2 continuation of this video, where we're going to give you 3 more advanced, possibly 3 or 4 more advanced exercises on what to do after you've got your deep neck flexors and you've got your rotation doing better. Rotation gets better, we're going to do some advanced stuff. So keep in mind, check us out on Sunday and see what our new video looks like. Well, let's get back to this current video. Our third exercise, we're going to look at an alternative to the second exercise. With the second exercise, we looked at going up and down while your eyes are looking at a central object. Well, what if that makes you nauseous or dizzy and it doesn't go well? Okay, no worries, we got your back. Let's look at another alternative. We're going to do a gentle isometric exercise. Remember, an isometric exercise is like 2 opposing forces pushing into each other, but there's no relative movement. For your neck flexors, here's what we could do. I'm going to relax my arms so it's not too stressful on my neck. 2 fingers go underneath my chin. My chin gently goes down. My fingers gently go up. So there's the opposing forces. I hold that for 6 to 10 seconds and then relax. Of all the strength that I could muster, let's say that's 100%, I only want 1 or 2%. Very light on the exercise. Hold it for 6 to 10 seconds. Relax for 3 or 4 seconds. And maybe we repeat this 5 to 10 times. 10 would be ideal if you could. Okay, if you made it 6 to 10 seconds 10 times, that's great. We could easily make this exercise 3 times a day, just like the previous exercise. So there's 3 options to help you with dizziness with rotation. I hope the video helps. Give them a try. Drop me a comment and let me know if it helped. Well, thanks for watching today's episode. Remember to check out tomorrow's episode on the continuation of more advanced exercises. Remember, you can subscribe to our channel to receive more videos like this in the future. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time on Physio Tips Tomorrow.